The Sea Sparrow versus the Buzzard. These are the two helicopters that are closest in terms of what they bring to GTA Online. One just came out today, the Sea Sparrow. One has been in the game since the very beginning. And in today's video, I will be comparing both of them and answering the question, which is better? So hopefully you guys do enjoy. Now, starting off with the price, the Sea Sparrow is actually a little bit more expensive than the Buzzard. The Sea Sparrow comes in at $1.815 million, whereas the Buzzard is $1.75 million. So you are going to be spending $65,000 more on the Sea Sparrow. But it's not actually as simple as comparing the base price to the base price for these two helicopters, because this Sea Sparrow actually has customization. So in addition to that $1.815 million, you're going to be spending a little bit more customizing it, upgrading it, and actually adding on weapons if you want. Comparing that to the Buzzard, the only thing you can customize if you bring it inside of your hangar is the paint job. Everything else comes equipped, and there's nothing you can upgrade. So the Buzzard's base price is basically all you're going to pay, where for the Sea Sparrow, you're going to be spending a little bit more on upgrades and weapons. Now, once you factor in all of the upgrades for the Sea Sparrow, that's still not a huge difference, but it is going to be a couple of $100,000 difference compared to the Buzzard. Another thing you have to sort of think about, the prerequisites. To buy a Buzzard, there is absolutely zero prerequisites. You can just buy it straight up, and it is in your Pegasus list. Whereas the Sea Sparrow, you actually need to own a hangar. Now, most people maybe have a hangar if you've been playing for a while, but if you're new to the game, or if you're just getting started or something, or you've been playing the game for a while and just never bought a hangar because you didn't like that business, well, unfortunately, you can't buy the Sea Sparrow. The Sea Sparrow needs a hangar for you to purchase it. So that's unfortunately another little paywall for the Sea Sparrow. Now, some basic information. The seats, the Buzzard has 4. Whereas the Sea Sparrow only has 2. Very disappointing. As for speed and handling, I would roughly say they are about the same. I mean, it's hard to really tell, but just flying around sort of in a straight line, they roughly had the same top speed. Maybe the Buzzard was a little slower, but it was like 1 or 2 mile an hour difference, which isn't anything special. And in terms of handling, I found them to be roughly similar. Now, maybe, you know, once you get it, you might find the Buzzard better or the Sea Sparrow better, but ultimately, it was close enough that I couldn't tell a difference. Now, as for armor, the armor is almost the same. They both get taken out with 1 homing missile. I don't need to show that, but the explosive sniper is actually a little bit different. So it takes 3 explosive sniper shots to take out a fully upgraded Sea Sparrow, whereas for the Buzzard, it only takes 2 to take it out. Now, both of these are relatively fast, and like I said, they handle pretty decently, so the odds that someone hits you with an explosive sniper isn't very high, but there was a difference between the two. Now, as for the weapons is where these two differ a little bit. So the Buzzard, it comes with homing missiles and a minigun, and the homing missiles work like regular homing missiles. They'll take out a car 1 shot if you hit it, but the miniguns aren't anything special. You can see I tested it against the Adder, and then we also tested it against an armored Chroma, and both of them took a pretty long time. And the reason that is because the minigun on the Buzzard just isn't good at all. It should pretty much never be used. Now, going to the Sea Sparrow, it also has homing missiles and a minigun, but the minigun is actually much better. Now, the one downside to the Sea Sparrow, unlike the Buzzard, you can't have both weapons at the same time. You have to pick one. You have to choose between the minigun or the homing missile. I would suggest going with the homing missile, but the minigun isn't bad. You can see it actually does blow up both the Adder and the Armored Chroma a lot quicker than the Buzzard, but it's still not quick enough to be viable, I would say, unless you're a super, super good pilot in free mode. Now, the missiles, they actually have something a little special. So they are just normal homing missiles, but you can spam them endlessly. There is no delay between shooting them. So you can just go one after the other. Now, some categories that you might not think of when it comes to these vehicles: spawning. This is a huge thing that you may sort of overlook. But with the Buzzard, you can spawn that anywhere if you are a CEO. You can go into your interaction menu and spawn that through the CEO interaction menu, and it's free if you own a Buzzard, and you can have it wherever you want. That is huge for the Buzzard. Now you can also spawn the same Buzzard through the Pegasus list. Now that'll spawn it at the Pegasus locations, but you can do it that way, or you can take that Pegasus vehicle, drive it into your hangar if you have one, and then you can spawn that through the interaction menu as well. It just won't spawn right next to you, it'll spawn maybe a couple of blocks away. So you have some options with the Buzzard. For the Sea Sparrow, you only have one option, and that is through the interaction menu once it's in your hangar, and it'll spawn near you a couple of blocks away. So that is kind of unfortunate. Another category is running into things. I'm sure we've all done this. You know, you're not paying attention or something, and you end up running into a building or a light pole or something. Well, the Sea Sparrow actually is a little bit better than the Buzzard in this category. Now, the Buzzard, you run into a building, and it blows up. I'm not going like super fast, but I'm going fast enough, and it does blow up. But with the Sea Sparrow, if you sort of pull up at the last second, kind of like how I did with the Buzzard, it won't blow up. It'll start smoking perhaps if you hit it hard enough, but the flotation devices sort of brace your impact. Another thing, and this is the most obvious one, the Sea Sparrow can land on the water. Now, it's not like super good at landing on the water. You have to be kind of careful, but that is a really, really unique feature. And I know a lot of people want this helicopter for that. But ultimately, answering the question, which is better, it's really tough. I really don't know if I can definitively say which one is better. The two super unique features about these, the Buzzard can spawn right next to you instantly, and the Sea Sparrow can land on water. Really, I would say between those two, which one do you want more? Because everything else is really close. You may be spending a little bit more on the Sparrow, but you are getting some pretty good stuff with it. One of the big downsides, though, I will say regarding the Sea Sparrow is that the customization, while it does have some, isn't anything special. I would have really liked to see some liveries like this one right here, the police, or like a US Air Force livery, or, you know, Coast Guard, or something like this, you know, or this right here. I really don't know why Rockstar put liveries on every other aircraft, it seems like, but not the one that people wanted in the Sea Sparrow. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Which one do you think is better, the Sea Sparrow or the Buzzard? Anyway, please drop the video a like if you did enjoy and found it helpful. Subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.